everyone, it's Nicole from Sydney English Teacher and from the Successful English Learner by Sydney English Teacher, and I'm here answering another one of your questions. Many people recently have come to me asking about, after plus verb ing. They've been asking about how to use this properly because I've identified many errors recently where people have used this particular construction wrongly. I want to make sure that you don't make the same mistake and that you can confidently use this grammatical construction because it's quite impressive. So it's after plus the ing verb. So as I said, I thought I'd give you a reminder about how to use this correctly and hopefully help you do it confidently. So the first thing to remember is that you need to be very, very careful. If you want to use after plus verb ing, you need to remember that the subject for both parts of that clause, for both parts of your sentence, must be the same. So you need to have the same subject for both of those verbs. Does that make sense? Let me give you an example to make it a little more clear. You can say, after going to the cinema, comma, she had dinner with her friends, full stop. After going to the cinema, she had dinner with her friends. In that situation, you have the same subject for both of those parts, for both parts of that clause, for both verbs, basically. So, she is the subject of both parts. After going to the cinema, she had dinner with her friends. That means that she went to the cinema and she had dinner with her friends. So she is the subject for both of those. She is the same. That's why we can use after plus verb ing and take away the first she, because it's understood. The grammar of after plus verb ing helps us to understand that the same person, the same subject that is mentioned with that second verb is the same as the first. Does that make sense? So she went to the cinema and she had dinner with her friends. She is the subject for both parts. That's why I can say, after going to the cinema, she had dinner with her friends. Now, promise me that you don't make this mistake, because too many people make this mistake, and I've seen this mistake made by so many people recently, even native speakers. So an example of what not to write, okay? This is not right. After taking the exam, the examiner collected the exam papers. After taking the exam, the examiner collected the exam papers. Can you tell me, why is that sentence wrong? What's wrong with it? Why is it not correct? Well, it's because we're using a different subject with each of these clauses. Listen carefully. After taking the exam, the examiner collected the exam papers. With that particular sentence, it is saying that the examiner took the exam and the examiner collected the exam papers. That's impossible. So there you can see he took the exam and he collected the papers. Not correct. So what we need to do there is to have a different subject for both parts of those clauses. Because obviously, the student took the exam and the examiner collected the papers. The examiner didn't do both. Does that make sense? So, because here we've got two subjects, we've got the students and we've got the examiner, we can't use the grammatical structure after plus verb ing. It's not possible. It's only possible to use after verb ing if it's the same subject for both, like she and she, remember? With the cinema and with the dinner. Here we have got the students and the examiner, so we can't use after plus verb ing. We would instead say that after the students took the exam, comma, the examiner collected the exam papers. So you can still say after, that's fine, but just don't use the verb ing form. Instead, use your normal construction. The students took. Does that make sense? Fabulous. Yeah, so there you go. I hope that's made it a little clearer and that you completely understand what I'm talking about so that you can use this construction correctly and confidently. Quick tip, you can do exactly the same with before with verb ing. So instead of saying after going to the cinema she had dinner with her friends, we could say before going to the cinema she had dinner with her friends. Same construction, same meaning, it's just before instead of after. But again there, we need to have the same subject for both clauses. We can't say here before taking the exam, the examiner collected the exam papers. Again, doesn't make sense. So before we took the exam, the examiner maybe distributed the exam papers. There you go. So anyway, there's a quick tip with after plus verb ing and with before plus verb ing. I hope that's really helped and that you found this lesson enjoyable. Thank you for listening. Bye.